a like to this video if you're a fan of Pawn Stars. Hey there everyone, what's up and welcome back to Film Screeny. Pawn Stars surely shows you some of the most absurd deals ever taken place in a pawn shop. But it also shows you the many types that Rick and company deceive their customers. Here are 5 times that the crew manipulated their customers. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Alright, now let's begin. 5. Slashing the deal. Imagine you have a weapon from ancient Japan that only about 10% of people at that time could hold. Who were those 10%? The Japanese military. If you walked into a pawn shop with it, you can bet you will get a fortune for it. But the Pawn Stars crew won't let you off as easy. So when a customer walked in with a 15th century Yosutsugu sword, Corey knew this was his chance, so he bid only $800 for the invaluable weapon. The customer, not knowing any better, sold the sword for just $1,500 after some negotiation. Later it was revealed by an expert that the sword was worth about $5,000. Only if the seller had done a little research into the actual origins of the sword, he would have walked out with a heavier pocket. 4. Yankees. Yankees are one of the most famous baseball teams around the world, and they've been famous for a very long time now. Their legacy lives on in not only the many World Series they won, but the signed memorabilia they handed over to their fans. One such memorabilia made it on the show. The seller, Clint, walked in with a baseball from 1951 signed by the Yankees. If you must know, that was the year when the Yankees won the World Series for the 14th time. Clearly, the ball would fetch a handsome amount. But the old man Rick only offered a meager $800 for the antique. Clint knew the real value and was not falling for their trap, so he walked out with the ball and hopefully found a better buyer later. 3. Cannon. The Yosutsugu sword was not the only piece of military weapon that made it on the show. There were definitely more expensive and more powerful weapons. In an episode, the show featured an 1890 Hotchkiss cannon. The seller, Chuck, was a collector of ancient field artillery and had kept the cannon in a pretty good shape. Rick got an expert to estimate the price of the cannon that would earn him a profit. The estimated price was a whopping $40,000. Of course, Rick would want to bring this down, so a final deal was made at $30,000, and the seller walked away happy. 2. Newton's treasure. Who doesn't know the genius scientist with the Apple story, Isaac Newton? Isaac Newton was highly knowledgeable and is known to have made a huge number of inventions. But of course, there was a source to all his knowledge. He had a huge collection of books. In one of the episodes, a customer walked in with one of the books from the genius's own library. Of course, Rick and Chum Lee had to get an expert to check the authenticity of the book. The expert agreed that the book was indeed from Newton's library. He estimated its value at $20,000, but the customer was only asking for $9,000. So after bargaining, Rick was eventually able to buy it for only $7,000, which was not even half of what the expert had estimated. This was surely one of the most manipulative deals on the show, especially when you realize much of Newton's collection is either archived or destroyed. 1. Peacemaker. Sometimes the sellers don't even try to win the negotiation. Something like that happened when a customer walked in with an 1890s Colt 45 Peacemaker revolver. The Colt revolvers are a huge part of the history of the American West and are manufactured for a price of up to $42,000. Rick knew the actual worth of the revolver very well, but he also knew that he could get it for much less than its actual worth. The seller even revealed that he only bought it for $25. Of course, Rick knew he had an opportunity and he bought the gun for only $3,000. If there is one thing that you should keep in mind, it's that even the people on Pawn Stars will deceive you. That is what they do for a living. So don't fool yourself into believing they are your friends, and always go in with your own research. Well, this brings us to the end of our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't liked the video yet, so it's never too late, give it a thumbs up, people. We will see you soon in another video. Until then, take care, and goodbye.